I think we have some guys, Bob, honestly, who potentially could be pretty doggone good, but they, you can't. It's not. It's not gymnastics or diving. There's nobody over there with a card, and every time you shoot it, waving a card degree of difficulty. It just counts whether it goes in or not. So why would you try to make things way harder than what they are? And we do that. I mean, we've got two guys that ought to shoot, with the pressure and everything, and getting the layups that they get, they ought to shoot close to 50%. They're good enough shooters to be able to do that, but they can't do it when they're falling back on their head or they're floating one way or another, and really for no reason. But the crazy thing was, I was sitting there watching them warm up today, and they didn't take one good shot in warm up. I mean, they were all falling backwards, jumping sideways, throwing up floaters, and that's what I just talked to them about. I don't know why in the world being really good isn't good enough, because nobody cares what it looks like, just as long as it goes in.
Coach, how much different of a player and maybe more importantly a person is Elijah this year?
Well, Elijah had pretty much 2 years off, Justin. Last year was a hard year for him. And he went through a lot of things early, losing his mother and everything. He's been much better. Much better. Elijah's honestly got to just continue to get tougher. I think he's really capable of scoring down close. And he ought to be able to rebound it honestly better than what he does. But he's in better shape, so he's going to be able to play, harder, longer, and he's moving better. He's really trying to get better.
What does it give you when you use him and Devin at the same time? Does it give you kind of a unique look, a bigger look offensively and defensively?
I don't know what, about 520 pounds. That's what it gives us. I don't know. I try to play them together. One of them's got to be able to pass. And we ran, just some stuff out of motion and threw it out of bounds. It's harder than what you think it is. But we've got to get better. And I know I've told you this before, but I'm telling you, I got great assistants. They're really good, and they're like, we got ISO, so and so. Okay, who's going to pass it? Tell me who's going to pass it. How do we get them open so they can pass it, and how do we get those other guys that are not going to guard out of the way? That's a lot to think about. 30-second timeout, especially when they're calling timeout. They're calling a technical when you don't come out of the timeout fast enough. We're going to call 127 fouls a game, but by God, don't be late coming out of the timeout. That's a technical foul. Because we got to speed this game up, That's not very intelligent thought, is it?
Bob, speaking of officiating, scrimmage and now this one, have you seen a difference? What's your opinion?
My opinion is I think it's not. I don't think it changes that much. I think guys are going to call the game the way they call the game. I mean, are you going to get some guys that are going to blow like every touch? I'm sure probably you are sometimes. Then you're going to get some guys that just don't believe in that. That's what I think. I could be wrong. Now they tell me they're going to call everything, but they had a whole bunch of little guys that I thought had their hands all over our post guys, and those guys in stripes didn't seem to care. It's supposed to be a foul. They want to get home too.
You mentioned just finding the guys that are playing better right now. Is that the focus going into the season, or is it still also looking at some different combinations and what kind of variables that might give you?
we're gonna have different combinations just because we're gonna get in foul trouble, and we're gonna get tired. And I want them to come out when they're tired. I don't want them to hurt us. You know, I think Elijah took a jump shot from like 17 feet, and he asked out, so he's tired. Then he went down there and shot it. If you're tired, why are you gonna shoot it? You know, let's be a little more intelligent. You drum up enough energy to shoot one, then come out, sit down, then go shoot.
Coach, how did you assess Javon running the point? I know it kind of helps.
I thought our point guards were not very good. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I didn't think they did a very good job at that. They've got to get a whole lot better.
Bob, I was going to ask you about some good moments where you all passed the ball tonight, but
Were you?
not anymore.
Could you refresh my memory?
That was a stretch. I was writing it down. I think you made like 11 straight shots though at one point, and it was by and large a result of moving around and getting it probably to where you wanted to. And it was a lot of different players, and especially front court players too, which maybe is not backcourt, but guys like Issa and Nate and even Dax are moving it pretty good. Is that, obviously that's the goal, has that been not present enough for you so far?
Well, the goal of playing motion is that you should have, theoretically, when you handle the ball that much, you should get better at handling the ball. And so theoretically, you should have more guys who can pass.
Theoretically.
I'm starting to doubt that theory. But theoretically, that's what's supposed to happen.
Coach, you've said that the shot clock won't affect the way that you play much, but have you seen a change in your opposition with them getting into sets and having any troubles?
It's not going to affect us because we play so fast, and we make them play fast. So unless somebody really tries to slow us down, I don't see it happen. We were able to, the 2 times that we played somebody different, we were able to speed them up.